Okay, this is Mags, and Mags is what kind of a shepherd is he again?
Czech German.
Czech German Shepherd. I thought he was Dutch. He's a little bit big for a Dutch Shepherd. You got a little something in your eye I want to get out, but he has bit a couple people when he disagreed with what was going on. And so in this, and he also a very stressed out dog. He's very high energy. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can teach your dog to focus. Now, a lot of trainers will teach your dog to focus. I'll call it a watch me exercise. They'll do it like this. I'm going to treat, and they'll go like this. They'll hold it up here. Well, I'm luring the dog to look at me. He has what's called cortisol, the stress hormone in his blood, and that gives him that really jumpiness. And that's, we call that efficiency of movement. So basically, that helps us in some capacities because we are, and I'm going to start doing the exercise while I kind of explain this. But it helps us in certain capacities, like if we're about to get mugged or we're in a battlefield or you're a police officer going in a dangerous situation, that tells you the cortisol goes in your blood, it accelerates your breathing, your heart rate. It prepares you for fight or flight. So dogs typically breathe fast. It shuts down all non-essential items. And basically, it gives them that heightened sense of awareness. Just kind of like, there we go, focus. And so it's healthy to have that in a short period of time. It's not healthy to have it a long period of time. If a dog looks at you in the eyes for longer than 11 seconds, it starts releasing oxytocin, serotonin, I believe it's prolactin. I'm not sure about the pronunciation of the last one. There we go. Focus. Into their brain. Now, your body can't produce the cortisol at the same rate or at the same time as producing the pleasure endorphins, the prolactin, serotonin, and dopamine. And so basically what we're doing is if I lure the dog to look at my face, I don't get the benefit of it staring at me for 11 seconds. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting the treats away from him, and I'm waiting for him to look at me in the eyes, focus. And when he does, on his own, then I give him the treat, and then I reload. So what we should see as we do this is he starts looking up at me faster and faster. So this can reduce stress. So if he's stressing out something, you move him away from whatever distance you can until he will sit and take a treat, and then you practice this exercise. Focus. You're not saying his name, you're not calling him, you're waiting for him to look at you. And when he does, we reward him. So this is a form of operant conditioning, buddy. So come here. He either does what I want and gets a reward, or nothing happens. There's no punishment. Sit. And it's very natural for them to objectify the treat, and they stare at it like he is now. So I'm waiting for him to look at me. Focus. So I raise it in 1 second from my knee to my nose, and then I go from there straight to his mouth, focus, and I say the word focus after the treat goes in the mouth. People often say it before the treat goes in the mouth. Focus. As we're seeing, he's doing it faster and faster, and he's learned this on his own through really a form of operant conditioning. Focus. So at first it's 1 second, 1 second. Eventually it's going to go like this. Focus. That's pretty good. Most dogs will come and get it. The reason we don't go there right away is because most dogs will start coming for it. I usually do this about 12 treats. I have all the 12 treats in this hand. I have one treat in my right hand, my given hand. I'm holding it between thumb and forefinger, and I'm pushing it. I'm wearing black, so you can't see it, but I have a wet mark right there. Now, I want you to watch where my fingers and my palms are when I do this one. And when you're doing it at first, you don't want to have distractions. Now, we have another dog. Everybody. That is outside. And when that dog's outside making noises, that's when you see him get up and move away. So at first you don't want to have any distractions. Eventually you do this exercise with distractions. Windy day too. So basically what I do, and I'll just show you, and I'll show you when he comes back, I hold it here and I push it against my leg. So now I have 3 points of contact. Now when I raise it, if you watch my fingers are now pointing upward, and my palm is facing the dog. A lot of people want to do it, they go like this, and then they go like this, and the dog's head is looking down, and the dog's now looked away. The reason we go to our nose is to maintain looking at us, and then going straight to their mouth, so they continue looking at us. So when you're doing this, your palm should go up to face the dog, and then face the dog. So it's pushing movement, it's facing the dog. Mags. Let's lure you over here, okay. All right, so sit. So what I do is for the first 12 treats, 1 second, 1 second, focus. 1 second, 1 second, focus when he looks at us. So the next stage, and we want to do this within 7 days. If you go longer than 7 days, they get bored and they start going elsewhere. So again, no other distractions and stuff like that. So once you get to the point where you're at 15 seconds and you're going to basically add it. So all 12 treats, 1 second, 1 second. And if he's still staring at me, the next time we do it, now it's 1 second, 2 seconds. The next for all 12 treats. And then the next time, maybe the next time. But it's not every time you do it, you add a second. You add a second as long as the dog can look at you the whole way. Anytime the dog looks away, back up to the previous iteration, practice more. Once you get to the point where you can have the dog focus for 15 seconds anywhere in the house, then the next stage is to practice this outside. Now, when we practice it outside, there's a lot of sights and sounds and distractions outside. It's harder, hey buddy. And so we don't want to do it while we have the neighbor's dogs out or the lawnmower or whatever it is. So we want to wait and let him go out and sniff around and get his sniffs out. Once the sniffs are done, bring him out to the deck and do it here. Sit down, and now we're going to go back to 1 second, 1 second. But we're going to go faster because we've done it. And faster, I mean in terms of the progression. So maybe I go for 4 treats, 1 second, 1 second. And then I go 1 second, 2 seconds for 4 treats, and 1 second, 3 seconds for 4 treats. So you can move faster, but again, go at your dog's pace. Down. And then you keep on doing this until you can get to the 15-second focus outside when there's no distractions. The last stage is do this on walks. And when you're doing this on walks, you can do it with a muzzle, but it's harder. I would probably try to do it without a muzzle. So what you can do is find a time when there's not going to be any dogs or anything out there, and you go out on a walk, and you have him walking next to you, and for no reason, there's no reason to do it, and he's nice and relaxed. You say focus, he looks up at you, and you go boom, boom, while you continue to walk. Don't stop. Everybody that I deal this with to, they stop, and then they give the dog a treat. When your dog's reacting, the worst thing you do is stop, or get closer is the worst thing, I guess, but stopping does not help. You want to keep them moving. Dogs process things better when they're moving. So basically, while you're moving, and there's no reason for him not to be distracted, you say focus, he looks up, and boom, boom. And then you do that for that walk, 1 second, 1 second. The next, and you can move a little bit faster this one as well. But eventually, we want to get to the point where we say, now we're cueing it. We're not waiting for the dog to look at us because we're walking, he's distracted. So whenever there's nothing around, you say focus, he looks up at you, that's when we go boom, boom, and treat him. And then after a while, it's 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Eventually, it's 15 seconds. He's like running into stuff because he's looking up at you instead of looking at the road. So when we're on a walk, sometimes if he sees a dog and the other dog sees him and they make eye contact, he gets bananas. He used to be worse about this, but he's older. So what you do is you see another dog, before you see it, say focus, he looks at you. The focus usually works against us. The dog's focusing on the other dog, the neighbor dog, the leaf. But now we're tapping into that, and we're using that for us. So you see another dog comes around the corner before Magnus does. You say focus, he looks up at you, and you turn and maybe walk down somebody's driveway, or you walk around the car, or you turn around and do a U-turn and walk the other direction. We don't want to practice. I'm not giving him a treat, that would be rewarding this. I'm just redirecting his attention so you don't have the barking. We need to practice being around things without barking. And sometimes you have to do it at a really big distance, but eventually you find the right distance, and then we start collapsing the distance like I talked to you guys about earlier off camera. So the focus exercise, don't try to use it until you can say focus when you're on a walk and he looks up at you. But if you say focus, 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 and if he's reacting, don't try to use it then. Increase the distance till he stops reacting, then do a couple focuses, and then see how close you can get. You want to get as close as you can without him reacting, but it's better to err on the side of caution than put too much because then he's practicing barking at the other dog. Max, let's do one more for the road. Get that one. Now, he doesn't have to sit. I normally do this when I'm seated, but because of the lighting, I'm doing it on the floor. You can do it while you're sitting in a chair. That's actually best. You want to be positioned so he's sitting and his head is right between your legs. Focus. Well, this is Mags. This is how you can teach your dog to focus, to redirect his attention and stop production of cortisol so it can be a little bit calmer.